Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Dr. Chuck Lockwood, mobile physical therapist here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And today we're going to be doing a deep dive into the Zeen by Exokinetics Inc. Now, the Zeen is essentially a body weight supported walker that also functions as a wheelchair. It provides a very unique mobility solution to a select group of individuals. It's definitely not for everybody. For some people out there who are just looking for a nicer walker, this would be overkill. But for those of you out there, or maybe you have a friend or family member who really wants to be more independent and just can't walk safely with traditional devices, this could be a solution for you. So my goal of this video is for you to come away with a better informed decision as to whether or not the Zeen is right for you or a family member or a loved one. We're going to go over how the Zeen works, how to fold it up and transport it, who it's for, who it's not for, sizing requirements such as height and weight requirements, and also, of course, cost and funding options, because I know that's a big question on a lot of people's minds. So again, hopefully you come away from the video just with better information so you can make the best decision for you or a friend or a family member. So first, let's talk about who the Zeen is for. And to do that, I'm going to demonstrate a couple common issues with walking via a traditional walker, okay? So these types of walkers can be a great solution for many people out there, obviously, but there's a couple issues with walking where these are not enough. One of them is tripping. So if you're walking and you trip and your foot catches the ground and all of a sudden everything goes forwards, this type of walker does not really solve that issue, right? Or maybe your knees buckle or start to give way. There's nothing to stop you with this unless you quickly turn around and sit on the chair. So that's another one. Also, with neurological conditions such as ataxia and Parkinson's, sometimes people will lose their balance backwards or to the side suddenly. So traditional walkers can't really account for those types of issues. So if you're somebody who struggles with those types of issues and you wish you could be more independent, you wish you could be moving around more than you are, but you don't feel safe, again, this could potentially be a solution for you. Now, there's essentially 6 minimum user requirements to be a Zeen user, and these come directly from GoZeen.com, from the company. The first one is you've got to have a powerful desire to become more independent and more mobile. If you're fine with how you're moving right now and the devices you're using, and you don't really have a strong desire to do more, the Zeen is going to be overkill for you. It's not going to be worth getting. So you really got to want it. You got to want to do more than you're doing right now. Number 2, you do have to have some strength in your legs and the ability to walk a short distance. Even if you currently need a lot of help to do that, all I'm saying is you need that strength to move your feet a little bit. Number 3, you do need to have the ability to learn and retain new information. Obviously, there's a lot going on with the Zeen compared to a standard walker. There are handlebars up in the front that also have brakes, and then behind them on each side are these red levers that serve as the hydraulics to make the seat go up and down. So switching between those two controls, as well as just walking with the Zeen and knowing how to move with it attached to you, that all requires some cognitive ability. So if you have cognitive deficits and memory issues, it's probably going to be too overwhelming and too much. Even if you have a caregiver with you all the time that you're using it, it still is probably going to be too much. You're going to want to have no cognitive issues. Now, even if there are no issues with your thinking and memory, there is still a learning phase and an adjustment period for the Zeen. It does still take some time to learn, just like any new skill out there, okay? But bottom line is you got to still be able to learn new skills and retain that information. Otherwise, it's not going to be a good device for you. Number 4, the weight limit is between 50 and 250 pounds, which is 23 to 113 kilograms. Now, they do reportedly have a model coming out that goes up to 350 pound weight limit, but for right now, the current weight limit is 50 to 250 pounds and 23 to 113 kilograms. All right, now requirement number 6 is the standover height range, which is 21 to 35 inches or 53 to 89 centimeters. Now the standover height range is similar to an inseam measurement, except it doesn't go up far. Basically what it is a measurement from the ground up until a height at which you're comfortable sitting on something. I'll show you later in the video how to take that measurement. But there's no specific height requirement, there's just a standover height requirement. Now, if your standover height is taller than the range that they say, you can reach out to the company and see if they can make some modifications to account for your taller height. It does say on the website that if you're taller than their range, you should reach out to them and see if they're able to help you out. And the last requirement is that you need to have moderate grip strength in order to operate the brakes. The release levers in the back here, those are what allows the Zeen to go up and down. Those are much easier to depress, but the brakes, they do require a little bit more strength in your grip. So again, you do need to have moderate grip strength in order to operate the brakes. Now, the Zeen company, they have a standard model, which requires use of both hands. They also have a one-arm control model, which requires only use of one hand. So I'll show you that briefly here. Let's pretend I only have use of my left hand, okay? So I'm just gonna flip that handlebar back out of the way. Now, if I wanna push the brakes, I can do that with just my left hand, okay? I can set the brakes with just my left hand, and here, I'll show you this side. So I'm gonna set the brakes, and then I'm gonna go up and down with use of the hydraulic release lever right here, okay? So basically the final requirement is you gotta have moderate grip strength in at least one of your hands if you're gonna get the one-handed control model. And we'll talk about that more later in the video. All right, so now let's get into the fun part. Let's go over how to use the Zeen. Now, the Zeen is right now, it's in seated mode and wheelchair mode. It's on its lowest setting. It can be operated in this setting. It can, of course, be operated in the standing position when you're walking, and it can also be operated anywhere in between. So I'm going to show you how to use it in all of the different modes. Now, right now, the brakes are engaged, so I can take a seat here, okay? I can put my seatbelt on. A couple notes about the seatbelt. There is a magnet in the seatbelt that allows you to store it on the side of the armrest without worrying about it falling down into the cracks. So that's a really nice feature. You're never gonna wanna over tighten the seatbelt. So if you're gonna be staying in seated mode and you're not gonna be standing up for a period of time, you can tighten it as much as it's gonna go. But if you are gonna stand up and walk, you don't wanna tighten it until you stand up. That is because right now, if I try and stand up, it's literally pulling me backwards. Like I can't go the whole way up because I over tightened the seatbelt. So I'll show you how to do the seatbelt once you're standing. But let's just say you're gonna stay in seated mode, okay? If you wanna move about, you can pop off the brakes and then you just go. You can only use your legs to move the Zeen in this position. You have to be able to have some good leg strength to do that. You can push sideways, you can go back and forth in any direction, okay? You can't use your hands like you can a traditional wheelchair. It's all in the legs, okay? Now you can also be pushed in this position just like a traditional wheelchair. What you're gonna wanna do is get the armrests out of the way, and then you're gonna put your feet up on the footrest, which right now the footrests are just a flat platform that's above the wheel housing, okay? Now, I could personally tolerate this position and be pushed, but I know some people, they might not have the knee range of motion to do this. This might not be that comfortable. I will say, reportedly, Exokinetics is coming out with an attachable leg rest that allows you to rest your feet more in a traditional resting position. But for right now, the only leg rest is this flat platform here. Now, if somebody is gonna push you in the Zeen, I would not recommend staying down in seated mode to do that. I would recommend coming up part way into what we call bar stool mode. So let me show you that right now. I'm gonna go part way. So here's bar stool mode, and it's called bar stool mode because you can literally pull your Zeen up to a bar or a high top table and comfortably sit. This is, of course, a lot more comfortable looking than the previous mode when I was the whole way down. That had a lot more stress on my knees. this is very comfortable. I could even come up one more notch, okay, and I'm still not in full standing mode, and that's even more comfortable. Now this is honestly the best position if somebody's gonna be pushing you. So let me show you what it looks like when someone's pushing you. There are some handles in the back here for somebody to push, and while you're sitting there in bar stool mode, someone can just push you. Being up higher in bar stool mode is actually even more comfortable for the pusher, because as you can see, the handles are right here at chest level. I can direct my force forwards and comfortably push somebody rather than bending down a little bit to grab the handles and push. This is mechanically just a lot better of a position, okay? Now, while I'm sitting here in bar stool mode, I'm gonna show you guys how to move about in this position. So I'm gonna put the handlebars forward here, and I'm going to scoot forwards. And in this position, I can move about just like I was showing you in the fully sitting down mode, except in this position, I actually have way more leverage with my legs and I can move much more easily. And I can actually go pretty fast with this. So let me back up here. And now I'm gonna come forwards. And you can just glide along, scoot along. Exokinetics has coined the term ZEENING for this. This is called ZEENING. This is partially sitting in bar stool mode while you are just gliding along. Yes, it is fun. It is definitely fun to do this. But this is a great option where, let's say you're walking and you're tired, but you still wanna get some movement in. You can come down, get a little more support from the seat, basically be in a partially seated position and glide about. So that is an option. Next, we're gonna go over sit to stand, how you go from seated to bar stool mode to standing mode, okay? So one important thing to mention about the sit to stand transition when you're using the Zeen is that it does help you stand up. So you don't need the full ability to produce enough force to stand up on your own. The hydraulics, they do actually help you stand up, so it's much easier. Now, the initial setting of the hydraulics is gonna be based on the weight that you enter if you do order a Zeen. However, if you need slightly more assistance or even slightly less assistance, if you don't want it to help you, you can go underneath the Zeen, lift it up, and you can change the setting. If you do decide to change that setting of how much the hydraulics helping you, you can contact GoZeen and they can walk you through that. This is also an important time to mention that yes, kids can use the Zeen, and for any child under 100 pounds, when you order a Zeen, you're gonna wanna choose the light gas spring option. You're not gonna wanna choose the standard, because if you put a 50-pound kid in this and you have the standard model, when he pushes the release, it's gonna shoot him up a little too hard. So that's why it's important to have it set at your proper weight setting. The first thing you need to do after putting on your seatbelt is get on the bike. I say that because the projection here on the Zeen, let me see if I can turn and show you. There is a projection here that looks like a bike seat, and that is what you sit on partially while you're walking. That is what supports you. It's like sitting on a bike. You can't walk in the Zeen by staying fully in the back here, because if I go to stand up right now, okay, you can see that my feet are off the ground. Obviously, you can't walk in that position. You have to be forwards on the bike. So you get on the bike, and then what you're gonna do is release the red levers on the side for the hydraulics. You're gonna squeeze, and then you're gonna come to a standing position. And then you're gonna let go, and you'll see that the Zeen is now locked at that height, okay? Now, if you have the one-handed control model, you can do all of that with use of just one hand. And if you keep the lever depressed, it's gonna let you go up and down, which that brings up a great point. You can do exercises with the Zeen, especially sit to stand repetitions. It's just a nice way to be supported while you're doing those. But anyway, you're gonna depress the levers, come up, let go, Now you're supported. Now here's where you would tighten the seatbelt. So I already have the seatbelt on. A good way to do this is grab the red tabs here and just pull them out so you know what you're working with here. You're gonna wanna keep the seatbelt right at belt height, right where your that pointy part of your hips is. That is where you want the belt. So what I would recommend is you stand up, you hold the belt out, okay? And your goal is to bring that belt back right up against your hips. So you're gonna hold the belt out, grab the straps on the side, and you're just gonna pull and let that belt come straight back until it contacts your hips. You want it tight enough so that it's not gonna be slipping down. So you don't want it that loose, but you don't wanna over tighten it, because if I over tighten that and I try to walk, it's gonna be pulling me backwards. I'm gonna be fighting to stay forwards. It's gonna totally mess up my mechanics. So again, you're gonna just pull straight back, belt height. It's contacting my hips and it's not over tight. I can still get my fingers in there, but it's also not going down, okay? And from here, you're ready to walk. You can pop off the brakes, okay? And then you can just walk. Now, one important thing about the Zeen is that, as you can see, it turns very easily. All four wheels swivel, unlike a traditional walker where only the front wheels swivel. On the Zeen, all four wheels swivel. This allows a very tight turning radius of 45 inches. It allows you to walk sideways. Okay, I'm gonna go this way now. Okay, so really nice maneuverability. The Zeen can navigate tighter spaces than you realize. I know that's a common concern with the Zeen, how big it is, right? So yes, it is big, but it does have a fairly tight turning radius that allows it to get in tighter spaces than you realize. So if you look at my doorway here, I have like a very short little corridor that goes from my doorway into my living room here. I can walk in here and I can fully turn around without hitting anything, and then I can come back out. Now, I live in a one-bedroom apartment, and if I rearrange my furniture, I could move the Zeen all throughout my apartment. The only place I can't get into is my bathroom. It is extremely tight, very, very, very small bathroom. So, you know, these are considerations if you plan to use the Zeen in your apartment or in your home. But the point is that despite how large it is, it can definitely maneuver in tighter spaces than you think. So another important note when you're walking with the Zeen is turning. When I first tried walking with the Zeen, I did what I think a lot of people do, and you try and steer it with the arms, but that's not actually what you do. Because you're strapped in with the seat belt and you're sitting on a seat, you're essentially connected to the Zeen. And actually a better way to say it is the Zeen is connected to you. So all you need to do is move and the Zeen moves with you, okay? I don't even need to use my hands. Now, there are a lot of people out there who do need a little bit of support. You can actually take one of them back and just use one, okay? But the point is that you don't really use your arms to steer. You use your body. You just walk like you normally would, okay? I can, if I really want to, I can quickly change directions. Has a lot of maneuverability, okay? Now, speaking of flipping back the armrests, let's just say I wanted to carry something in this hand. I have the one-handed control model here, so I can operate it with just use of, say, this left side. And if I want to carry a glass of water or something in my other hand, I can do that. And that brings up a good point. Even if you have use of both hands, the one-handed control model is still a fantastic option because it allows so much more independence and functionality. So like I said, I can operate with just one hand, brakes, lever, hold something in this hand. I can come up to a table, I can put the brake on, and I can sit down and go about my business. And then if I want to go walk back to the kitchen or something like that, I can do that. So if you're somebody who, say, lives alone, or maybe you're going to be using the Zeen at work in your office and you want the ability to multitask, the one-handed control model is really good, even if you have use of both hands. So let's say you're walking and you get tired. Maybe you want to switch to bar stool mode and then do some Zeening. Or maybe you're ready for a full break and you want to go the whole way down to seated mode. And now I'm ready to be pushed. Like I said, it's probably more comfortable to be pushed in bar stool mode, okay? One more important note about walking. Let me pop the brakes off here. Bring this a little closer for you. As you can see, the seat is like a normal square, and then it has this projection that's like a bike seat. One awesome feature that allows for smooth walking and normal gait mechanics is the fact that the seat swivels back and forth. That's because when we're walking, our hips swivel back and forth. And if the seat didn't swivel, it would block you from your normal gait mechanics. So next I want to go over safety considerations. I know a big question that a lot of people have is, can the Zeen tip? And the answer is yes, it can tip. It's not an injury-proof device. You still have to operate it correctly and safely to minimize risk of injury. But I am going to demonstrate for you how it can still tip. So if you see here on the Zeen, it's clearly longer front to back than it is side to side. So what that means is it's going to be a lot harder to tip it forwards and backwards than it is side to side. So if I am operating the Zeen and I lean forwards, it is definitely not tipping just with that. So if I'm walking and I like lose my balance forwards, I can come back up and the Zeen didn't tip. Now, if I want to make it tip, if I want to force it to tip, I can do that via a counter lever of pushing down and kicking back with my legs. So I can lift it like that and then I can push down. That takes a lot of force. That's not really likely to happen while you're walking. If you're going downhill, like out in the community, and you hit something, that could potentially make it easier to tip forwards. But you know, if you're just walking and you go forwards, it's not likely to tip. As you can see, the Zeen fully supports my body weight. Actually, I think I did get the back wheel up there a little bit, but not likely to tip forwards. Same thing, not likely to tip backwards. If I lose my balance backwards, the Zeen has me. It's gonna be really hard to tip. If I lift on the handles, I don't even think I could make it tip backwards. So very stable front to back. Side to side, because it's a little more narrow versus front to back, it is more likely to tip side to side. Now, if I'm leaning here, okay, all four wheels are still on the ground. If I pick my feet up and lean, all four wheels are still on the ground, okay? Actually, at that point, when I was leaning really far, I think I do have the side wheels up. One of the back wheels is up right now. Okay. If I want to make it tip, I definitely can do that, especially if I kick on my legs with the Zeen. So there it goes, it starts to tip. It's very hard to do this. So if you're walking and you lose your balance to the side, you know, you're honestly more likely to crash and run into something than you are to tip. So if I'm walking and I don't hit the brakes, I can crash into something for sure. In my opinion, that's more of your risk of injury than tipping. Same thing backwards. If you're like losing your balance backwards, you don't hit the brakes, you can crash into something. So just to recap, yes, there are safety concerns that exist with the Zeen. That is why I really encourage you, if you do get one, reach out to Exokinetics at gozeen.com for assistance. If you have a local physical therapist that's willing to work with you and train you on how to safely use the device, I highly recommend that, because like I said before, there's definitely a learning curve with using it. Even if you have no cognitive or memory issues, it's still a new skill. And so clients often really benefit from having a physical therapist work with them in order to safely use it and make sure they don't get hurt while they're using it. Next, we're going to talk about transporting the Zeen. I know a lot of you guys are wondering, how the heck am I going to transport this thing? So to fold the Zeen up, there is a red lever in the front, right on the side of the seat, and then there's a red lever in the back, right in the middle of the seat. You're going to pull up on both of those at the same time and bring the Zeen into your body. So first, you're going to stand on the side of the seat where the red lever is closest to you. You're going to bend down with good body mechanics. You're going to pull up and bring the Zeen close into your body. Okay. Now I'm going to show you that again. So to fold it or to unfold it, you're going to go like this, click the seat in, push down in the back. Now the Zeen's ready to go. You want to fold it up, do the reverse of that, and bring it into your body. Now, if you don't strap it in the front, it's going to unfold on you. So what you want to do to keep it in this tight folded position is reach down here. There's a little Velcro strap. It's very simple. You just loop it through a buckle, and now the Zeen is secured in this folded up position. Okay. You can maneuver it in this position and push it. The wheels do tend to hit each other because it's so tight. So if you need to roll it a long way to get it to a car, I'd recommend just keeping it unfolded so that you're not getting frustrated with the wheels bumping into each other. Okay. Now, this is what everyone's been wondering. How do you get this into a vehicle? The Zeen is 42 pounds. So if you're just going to lift it into a vehicle, it does take some strength and good body mechanics to do so. Obviously, with its size, it's probably only going to fit in a truck or an SUV trunk. Probably not going to fit in a small vehicle's trunk, like a sedan or something like that. I haven't tried it in a sedan. Maybe it does fit in some of those trunks. I'm not sure. Subaru Outback, I don't know if it would fit in that. Probably. I haven't tried it, but I have a Toyota RAV4 and it fits very easily in that. So anyway, let's pretend my trunk is right here next to me. If I am going to lift it into my trunk, I'm going to get very close to the Zeen. I'm going to spread my legs a little bit, get a wide base of support. I'm going to bend at my knees in a squatting motion and keep my back straight. And then what I'm going to do is grab any solid part of the frame. There's different parts you can grab it. The lower, the better. And then what I'm going to do is stand up. Okay, keep it close to my body the whole time, and then walk it into the trunk of my SUV. And then I'm going to do the reverse to lower it down. Keeping it close to your body is totally key. As soon as you get it further away from your back, that's a lot of stress on your back. And that's the same with lifting any object. Now, I know some of you watching that are saying, no way am I going to do that. And I totally understand that. So again, this is one of the considerations if you plan to take it to different places in the community. Some people may only plan to use it in the house, so you don't even have to worry about this, but it is nice to be able to take this out to parks and trails and other places in the community. Now, luckily, Exokinetics makes a trunk lift strap accessory that you can get that makes lifting this 42-pound Zeen feel more like lifting a 20-pound object. I don't have a trunk lift strap right now, but basically how it works is you strap it into your vehicle, into your trunk, and then the strap is long and it comes out of the trunk, and then it drops down on the ground and lays right on the ground here. So what you do is you just roll the Zeen on top of the strap. So now it's coming out of the trunk, it's coming down underneath the Zeen, and then it comes up like this. So all you do is grab the strap and you pull up, and that lifts the Zeen right into your trunk. Plus, you can use the trunk lift strap for other heavy objects that you want to transport, maybe a suitcase, maybe a small piece of furniture. It's really an awesome device. If you check the description of the video down below, you'll see a link to a video demonstration of using the trunk lift strap from GoZeen's website. Highly recommend you check that out. A couple other sizing requirements and considerations to make. The widest seated area here is about 21 inches. And I'm talking about basically the width of the seat plus a couple of inches here. That is about the widest width that you would want to be able to comfortably sit, 21 inches. So if you are wider than that, it may not be comfortable for you to sit in. And also the minimum clearance of a doorway is 27 inches. My door here is about 29 inches. And you see it fit just fine through there. And again, the turning radius is 45 inches. So what you can do is go to the tightest area in your house and measure how wide it is. And if it's at least 45 inches, the Zeen should be able to turn in there. All right, so next let's talk about cost, because I know that's a big question on a lot of people's minds. We're gonna go over cost and different considerations and options for alternative funding. The standard Zeen model is $4,390. The one-handed control model, which is what I have, that one is an additional $525 for a total of $4,915. Like I said, even if you have use of both hands, if you want maximum functionality, especially if you live alone and you need to be doing different tasks in your kitchen or your office and multitasking, doing something with one hand while you're walking, that one-handed control model is going to offer you maximum functionality. Now, obviously, the Zeen is a very significant financial investment. So the first important consideration is that you do get a 14-day trial period to use the Zeen in your home, make sure it's going to be a good fit for you. And if you decide it's not, you can return it, okay? You can return it and get reimbursed. Now you will lose out on the initial shipping fee as well as the restocking fee, and that's going to be a total of $500. So worst case scenario, you order it, you don't like it, you can return it, and at most you'll be out $500. Now, $500 is obviously significant, right? So I highly encourage you to try the Zeen in person before you buy it. Obviously, not everybody can do that, but if you're anywhere close to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Zeen's headquarters are in Westchester, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. You can go there, you can try the Zeen and ask the company questions, okay? Additionally, on GoZeen's website, there's a full list of vendors throughout the country in much more places than just Pennsylvania that have a Zeen that you can contact them and set up a trial. That way you can try it before you buy and not lose any money if you get in the Zeen and decide you don't like it. Also, if you have a physical therapist that's in the area, especially if they come to your home, even if they're not familiar with the Zeen, I would recommend reaching out to your favorite physical therapist. And if you're really serious about buying a Zeen, you can ask them if they can help you figure out if it's going to be a good device for you. So that's another great resource. Now, currently, Medicare does not cover the Zeen. There is no code in Medicare's list of codes for a device like the Zeen. But there have been cases of insurances, particularly commercial insurances, providing some degree of coverage for the Zeen. You're always going to have to pay GoZeen upfront for the Zeen in full. But what I would encourage you to do is reach out to your doctor and your physical therapist, see if they can get you a prescription and a letter of medical necessity, and then you can submit a claim to your insurance and you can see if they'll reimburse you for what you paid out of pocket. But no matter what you do, you are going to have to still pay in full to GoZeen.com if you purchase a Zeen. You could probably reach out to your doctor and physical therapist ahead of time and submit for approval before you buy it to see if that's going to work. That's something you could try. I personally have not tried that, so I'm not sure how that works, but that's probably an option for you. And that's a common way to see if a device is going to be covered or not. Other funding options include payment plans. So right when you go onto Zeen's website to purchase a Zeen, there is an option for a monthly payment plan. I will say the interest is relatively high, so it might not be the best option, but that is an option available to you. Probably an even better option is if you live in the States, you can go to GoZeen's website and there's a full list of assistive technology foundations state by state. I know in Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Assistive Technology Foundation offers interest-free loans for up to $7,000 for medical equipment. So that would be a much better option than doing Zeen's payment plan that's on their website. highly encourage you to reach out to your state's Assistive Technology Foundation, see if they can help you out with funding for the zine. Now, if you do decide to get a zine, I'm going to show you how to do the standover height measurement, because you're going to need to enter that into the computer when you order one, okay? So what you're going to do is take a tape measure, and you're going to stand up, and you're going to take a measurement basically from the ground up until the spot where you'd be comfortable sitting on somebody. So it's not your inseam measurement that goes the whole way up. It is just up until you feel comfortable sitting on something. So in my opinion, the best way to do that is take a book, put it between your legs, and hold it at a comfortable spot where it's not putting a ton of pressure up through your groin. It's just in contact with your groin. It's there, and just pretend there's a seat there. You're going to take your tape measure, put it on the ground, and measure where the top of the book is. And for me, that is 31 inches, okay? Okay, so that is what I can enter into the standover height measurement when I order a zine. Now, if you enter the wrong measurement, it's not a big deal. If you get your zine and it's a little too high or a little too low, I'm going to show you next how you can very easily change that. So if you look at the side of the zine here, you'll see all of these numbers, and these are essentially the max height settings. So if you see this little stopper here, you can move this up and down. And what that does is it sets your maximum height, which is where you will lock out when you go to a full standing position. So for me, I am a 9. That is the best height to put the zine at for me. This little arrow here is pointing down, and that's what indicates your setting is at. So if you see me stand up, you're going to see this thing come up and hit the stopper. So I'll show you that. Okay, so it hits this, and that's what I lock out at standing. Now, if you decide you want your max height to be 1 notch lower, 1 notch higher, all you got to do is pull this release in the back, move it down, and it'll lock out, okay? So when you enter your standover height into the computer, Zeen and Exokinetics is going to send you your zine preset at one of these numbers. But if you decide you need it 1 notch higher or lower, all you got to do is move this, and you're going to do that on both sides. Now, it is crucial to have this set correctly while you're using the zine, because if you have it 1 notch too high or too low, that can make all the difference in comfort and proper walking mechanics. So it is important that you take the time and measure correctly, but also feel it out when you get your zine and make sure you have it at the right height, okay? All right, so next I want to take you through GoZeen's website and show you how to find certain resources as well as how to order your zine. So if you go here to Zeen content at the top, you can scroll down and there's just a ton of more videos and resources for you here, okay? Now, if you go to training at the top, again, there's just a ton more videos on how to properly use the zine. So I encourage you to explore those if you're still wondering if it's going to be a good device for you, or if you do get one and you need resources on how to properly do a very specific task, this is going to be available for you. Now, if you go to Zeen demos, you can scroll down and you will see that there are live demonstrations every day online of how to use the zine. Now, this Zeen demos page is where you're going to find a resource for the zine distributors and places where you can try the zine throughout the United States. So if you click this distributor page, you're going to see a list of approved vendors, again, all throughout the United States. Here's somebody in New York. Here is somebody in South Carolina. Here is somebody in, looks like Massachusetts. So you can explore this, and if you want to try out a zine, see who is closest to you. There's a lot more options than just going to Philadelphia to try it. Now, another important spot to know about on the website is if you go down to the bottom and you click on funding your zine, you will go to a page that has some more information on funding the zine and cost and commonly asked questions. And if you scroll down more, there is a button here, actually 2 buttons for different sources of places and foundations, state by state, where you can get alternative funding sources. I know Pennsylvania has an interest-free loan option for up to $7,000 for medical equipment. Not every state's like that, but if you click this button, this gives you the National Disability Institute's list state by state. So I encourage you to check that out. If you hit the Assistive and Training Center link on the right, that's just another organization that, again, offers information state by state. So those are 2 sources that you can check out. There are also some crowdfunding options. You can also apply for some grants, some diagnosis-specific assistance, and you can also, like I said, just use Zeen's installment payment plan on their website. That is going to be a higher interest option, but it is there available for you. Now, if you decide you're going to order a zine, you're going to go to Order Now at the top. And the standard zine is going to be the default option. So if you scroll down, you're going to have 2 options that you need to select right here. And as you can see, standard production is the default selection. So if you click the drop down, you'll see that you can pick the one-handed control model if you so choose. So I'm going to pretend I'm buying one for myself. I do want the one-handed control model for more functionality and independence. So I'm going to click that. And then when you click that, you will see that the cost went up from $43.90 to $49.15, okay? So that is the cost difference between the standard model and the one-handed control model. So my next option that I need to choose is the gas spring. You're going to keep that at standard production unless you are buying this for a child who is under 100 pounds. If you're buying it for a child who's under 100 pounds, you're going to want the light gas spring option. That way, because a child is much lighter, it's not going to give so much force and assistance when the chair goes from sitting to standing. So that's going to be the better option for a child who's under 100 pounds, anywhere from 50 to 100 pounds. Now for me, I'm going to click the standard production, but if you want a little bit more information on the gas spring options, if you look right here, it gives you some more information on that. And it also mentions if you're a tall person, if you need a higher standover height, you can call their office at this number right here and learn about how they can extend that for you. All right, so we got the one-handed control model selected. We got the standard production of the gas spring. I'm going to go down here and enter my standover height of 31 inches. I'm going to enter my weight in pounds. I'm going to click I understand the height and weight limitations. By the way, if you forget how to measure the standover height, there's a video right here that you can watch, okay? And then with that, I'm ready to add it to my cart, okay? All right, guys, so that's the zine. I hope this video was helpful for you to decide if this is a good device for you or your family member. And even if the zine ends up not being a good fit for you or your family member or friend, I hope you guys can find the best device out there that allows more movement into your life, because of course, motion is medicine, okay? Thanks for watching and have a good day.